Good morning, friends. Befriending the mind. That is the subject of discussion today. Let's begin from the Gita. In the Gita, Sri Krishna said to Arjuna, Arjuna, be a yogi. And again he explained what is becoming a yogi. Samatvam yoga uchyate. One who is established in yoga is a yogi. What is yoga? Samatvam yoga uchyate. Equanimity is yoga. Not being disturbed by the pairs of opposites, like and dislike, good and evil. Those sorts of things disturb our mind through attachment or aversion. Either we are attracted and attached to some raga, or there is dvesha, aversion, dislike, hatred. These two things disturb our mind. And to go beyond this disturbance, being established in equanimity, nothing can disturb us. When mind becomes like that, then it is being established in yoga. Sri Krishna says, becoming the yogi is the highest achievement a man can do. Be established in yoga. Arjuna was pleased. But Arjuna was a very intelligent and brave man. He just didn't say, yes, okay, thank you, sir, and went away. Then he analyzed and said to Krishna, Krishna, you told me a fantastic thing, but I find it so difficult. Yoyam yogas toya prokta samena madhusudana. Madhusudana, you told me to be established in equanimity. But it is so difficult to remain in equanimity, to treat all these opposites as with same-sightedness, because of uncontrolled mind, restless mind. How can I control? It is not easy. You told me established in yoga, but my mind is restless. Now, he said, Chanchalam hi mana Krishna. My mind is restless. How can I make it friend? It doesn't want to stay in my order. It doesn't want to help me. What in fact is the friend? Why do we want to make mind our friend, or we to be the friend of our mind? A friend is one who really helps us in our everything, to achieve our goal, to achieve our fulfillment in all the ways, by supporting us throughout. If our mind doesn't help us to reach the goal of blessedness, of joy, of happiness, which we seek, then our mind is not friend. Our mind has to be made in such a way that it really becomes our friend and helps us to achieve our goal of supreme bliss, fulfillment, what we really seek in our heart. Even we may not be able to express to the mind, but mind should guide that. If the mind is restless and moving here and there, how will it be my friend? It will drag us to somewhere else and throw it in my ditch. So when the mind is controlled, is under my control, then only it can be friend. A mind which is my servant can be my friend. A mind which is my master and guides me to go where and there, that cannot be my friend. It won't behave like my true friend. Mind which acts as my servant, is under my control, will be my real friend. Now the question comes, how to make this mind under control so that it becomes my friend and guides me. Without mind we cannot work. And Sri Krishna will say, you see, mind is like your friend or like enemy. That is said. Atmaiva hyatmano bandhu, atmaiva ripuratmana. You yourself are your friend, you yourself are your enemy. You don't have to create enemy. Actually, external enemy that we see, that is also our creation. Internal enemy, that is also our creation. And who is, what type of mind is our enemy and what type of mind is our friend? Bandhuratma manastasya ena atmaiva atmanajita. If we conquer ourselves by ourselves, our mind by ourselves, then that mind is friend, bandhu. Then we are friend to ourselves. What is we? Our mind. Anatmanastu shatrutve varteta atmaiva shatruvat. And which is not controlled, that myself is like my own enemy. My mind, uncontrolled mind, is my enemy. How can he befriend? So to befriend a mind is to control the mind. Now, Arjuna's question. You asked me to control the mind and be established in the samatvam, in yoga. But it is not easy. He said, Chanchalam hi mana Krishna pramathi balavat dridam. He gives 4 examples of the mind, 4 qualities of the mind. It is chanchalam, restless, very restless. This moment it is at that place, another moment it goes that place. Now in Toronto, tomorrow, in the next moment, why tomorrow? Next moment in New York, the next moment in Bombay, like that it just travels. Now to this person, another moment to that person, now little happy. Like that is the mind. In sadhana, it is said, our mind should not be like a housefly, but it should be like the honeybee. Housefly, what it does? It sits on anything, any food it likes. Sometimes filth, sometimes sugar, sometimes honey. Whatever it gets, it sits. Whatever it gets, it goes to that. But honeybee won't go anywhere other than the flowers to collect the nectar. So, mind has to be like honeybee, only liking the good things. Only that will happen if we couldn't train that mind. Mind needs to be trained. By nature, mind is chanchalam. First, very restless. Chanchalam hi mana Krishna. Then pramathi. It's very turbulent. Balavat. Powerful, also strong. It's not that you just say, sit here and it will say, it will just throw you up and go. Dridam, very obstinate, restless, turbulent, strong and obstinate. It wants to do what it likes. And you ask me, control this mind and be established in yoga. How can I do? Tasyaham nigraham manne. To control this mind is like controlling vayu rivat suduskaram. It's very duskaram is difficult. Suduskaram, very, very difficult. And Arjuna compares it like controlling the wind. Wind is blowing from north to south, and you ask me, turn the wind from south to west. How it is possible? It seems very difficult. Say, Krishna, say me something, how can I control this mind? Arjuna was the one, you see, how much control of mind he had when he was practicing archery as a boy, and his teacher asked to target the arrow at the bird, the model, the clay bird that was put on the tree, top of the tree, and he had to hit the eye of the bird. Teacher asked him to target the bird with arrow. Then asked, Arjuna, what do you see? Do you see us around you? There were other princes. He said, no sir, I don't see anything. Do you see the tree? No sir, I don't see the tree. Do you see the bird? No, I don't see the bird. Then what do you see? I see only the eye of the bird. Then hit the target. The arrow was shot and it hit the target just right. That type of concentration of the mind Arjuna had from his very childhood. He was the bravest, greatest hero of his times. That Arjuna knows what the mind is. And to remain in equanimity while working great things, Swami Vivekananda says, any coward can become brave when the time comes. In the midst of applause, even a coward will go and stand in front of a cannon. He can give up his life. There was a lot of environment. But he is really a brave who can do small things, unseen, unnoticed, in a perfect way. That is the sign of heroism, that is a sign of bravery and courage Swami Vivekananda gives. A man is known by the small little things that he does, not the great big things in front of everyone. So Arjuna, that great person, says it's very difficult. And we who try to little befriend our mind, try to little control our mind, whenever the difficulties come, we know how difficult it is. Almost all of us have experienced sometimes or other how sleepless night we had. Something happened, something somebody said, and that affected so much to our mind. Next day I had to go to office, but I am not able to sleep all night because of mind is now restless. I know it is useless to think of the thing, what happened or what somebody said, but still I am unable to ask the mind to quiet down and behave and let me take rest. No, mind does its own work without my control, like an enemy, disturbing my sleep, disturbing my rest, because it is not under my control. It wants to be disturbed by some words, it wants to be restless by some happenings. It does according to its own, which I don't like, but it is not under my control. Now, how to make this mind control is the problem of all of us. The first thing is to develop strong will. I need to control the mind. That is the basis. Swami Vivekananda had said, if I had to study, I have studied many books. He was one of the most intelligent person that was born in the world. And he said, if I have to study again, I will not read the books. What I will do first is I will try to control my mind and learn the art of concentration of the mind. If I could achieve that, then learning things from the books or from exterior will be so simple. I'll put the concentrated mind on anything and that knowledge will be all gained by me. He gives the example, what is learning? Learning is nothing but you focus the powers of your mind on something, and the secret that is hidden in that words of the book or in the material thing or anything, that just reveals itself by the power of the mind. Focused mind, concentrated mind. The concentrating the mind according to will is the greatest power that we can have. So we'll have to develop the willpower that I have to have the power to control the mind, to befriend the mind. If I could do that, I will succeed. The secret of success is control of mind. In anything, in material world, in spiritual life, anything, anywhere. Then after having that thing, then we should know the certain techniques, what we need to do to control the mind. Let us now see why we need to control the mind. First is to realize our potential and to manifest whatever powers we have and fulfill the expectation of ourselves and our relatives and the world. We need to control the mind. Without that, we cannot do the work as we should do. If we have no control of the mind, then our passions, emotions, tensions will be so big that they will not let us remain as we are, as a human being. They will eat up into our nerves and muscles. So to live a healthy life, we need to have control of the mind. In a worst case, uncontrolled mind, if it is let loose and never tried to control, a person may become insane. What is an insane person? He has no control of his mind. Just mind takes it, moves it as mind wants. That person will call insane. So, control of the mind is necessary for integration of personality. Without integration of our personality, we cannot succeed in our life. When we have control of mind, calmness comes. There is certain degree of calmness. That calmness of the mind leads to peace of mind. And when we are peaceful, then only we are happy. Ashantasya kutah sukham. In Sanskrit, in the Gita, it is said, how can one be happy if he is restless, without peace? So, peace in ourselves is dependent on the calmness of the mind. Calmness of the mind is dependent on the control of the mind. And that when we are happy ourselves, we can make others happy. Holy Mother said, the purpose of life is fulfilled if we can give joy to others, happiness to others. That seems to be ultimate goal of life in this world. There is a spiritual aim, no doubt, to realize our real nature, to attain God. If we see in the world what we really want, we want to give joy to others, happiness to others. That is our aim. By making others happy, we ourselves feel happy. And we can make others happy when we are happy. So this happiness of the mind and making others happy depends on our state of the mind, how much control it is. Control of mind is needed for orderliness, discipline and excellent human relations. Without controlled mind, we will not have good human relations. We will be talking with someone, mind is not controlled, something is felt, and we'll just speak out. And relation will become sour. Controlled mind knows how much it will allow the speech, organ of the speech to speak. How much it will allow the things to happen, things to do. Everything will be controlled by the controlled and friendly mind. Controlled mind will make us free from mental maladies and free from physical troubles caused by mental tension. Controlled mind will assert higher nature. Hidden power in ourselves are released. And when we start controlling mind gradually, mind becoming our friend and getting controlled more and more, then people will see that person is changing. Something has come in him, he's becoming more powerful, he's achieving greater things. And people will wonder how this person is becoming great gradually. Friends will look at to us in awe and wonder, and that all depends on our control of mind. And ultimately, what can the control of the mind give? In the final thing, control of mind can give us spiritual illumination. That is the highest reward the control of mind can do. Now, what are the impediments? Let us say then we will go to how to control the mind. What are the impediments to control the mind? The first impediment is strong likes and dislikes. If I like something very strongly, I'll be liking some other thing very strongly disliking. So this strong likes and strong dislikes. I will have to have that thing in my food. I want that curry. I want that chicken with the chili chicken in my curry. Without that, I will not eat today. Husband says to his wife over phone coming from office, so today I want chili chicken. Without that, I will not eat. So if this strong like is there and somehow his wife fails to cook that, what will be the condition of that husband? He will not eat, he will disturb himself and will be angry on his wife, on his children, whole thing disturbed because it is a strong like for something. Chili chicken is the smallest thing I am told. There are so many other things of strong likes and dislikes. I may like to eat something, but that should not be that strong. I like that. If it is there, I am happy. If it is not there, koi baat nahi, doesn't matter. There should be nothing very strong liking for anything. And similarly, no strong dislike. That is a very great impediment in controlling the mind. Another thing impediment is living an immoral life. Immoral, unethical life, if one lives and wishes to control the mind, it will not be possible. The life should be strictly on moral principles and very ethical. That type of life, that type of person can wish to control the mind. If one has a deliberate habit of deliberately harming others, somehow enjoys in some defect and difficulty of others, and that it comes from the strong dislike. You start disliking not only some food item but some person. That becomes dangerous. Then you start harming that person by saying against that person to others, by thinking ill about others, and if possible doing something wrong to that. A strong dislike can do that. that harming others through thought or word or any deed. If we do deliberately these things, such a person should not try to control mind, because that person will not succeed. This much of hatred against other person, there will be no control of the mind. Mind will be enemy of yours, it will not be your friend. So, another is indulging in intoxicants. If I have no disciplined habit in food and drinking, and I indulge too much in intoxicant, then that type of mind will also be not controlled. And unbalanced lives. We have no indiscipline and unbalanced life. If we lead, mind will not be controlled. Another thing that hampers in controlling the mind is too much of talking. When you talk too much, then the thing comes, we start talking about others. And when we start talking about others, if we study, it will generally something ill about others. How much do we praise other person? Very short time. If we talk half an hour, some other has to come. Some other. Bring your friend or your known person, or at least you go and bring some Obama or some Manmohan Singh. Someone will come. Someone will come in all this thing and maybe little praise about something for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, but if we count and see after that what we talked about, we talk 25 minutes, some ill about some others, criticizing others. So when we criticize, when we see the bad points, some defects, we judge like that, all those come in our mind. And our mind is a very bad shape. And after half an hour of 25 minutes of seeing defects of other person through our mind and through our conversation, when we go out, we find our mind becoming very bad shape, unhappy. Then if you forget even why you are unhappy, you will remember, why I am unhappy today? I don't feel that joy. Oh, I was talking about ill about others. Because the talk was very long, too much talking. But if we talk something good about others, just praise, just try to see good points, then you will feel joy. That type of mind will be fit for concentration, will be our friend. If there is no moderation in eating, drinking, working and sleeping, that also will be an impediment for the control of the mind. That's why Sri Krishna said, Yuktahara viharasya yukta chestasya karmasu. All he said. Yukna swapna vabodhasya yogo bhavati dukkha. You want to be yogi and free from all sufferings and be established in everlasting joy? Be moderate, Arjuna. Be moderate in work, in sleep, in eating, in drinking, like that. Even in recreation, vihara. Be moderate. Practice all those. Those are needed. Eating, drinking, sleeping, recreation, working, everything is needed. You cannot just avoid. Do you think you will be very control the mind if you fast for the whole day or 3 days? No, you cannot control the mind. Because mind itself is material. Mind, according to Hindu philosophy, is the subtlest and finest part of the food. The food which we eat goes to make our blood, our bones, the coarse part, and it's the finest part goes to make our mind. Mind is material. In the Upanishad, to teach this, once a teacher asked his student, English student, to bring a glass of water and asked him to keep fast for a few days. And then he said, after a few days, he said, "Can you recite the Vedas that I taught you?" The student says, "Forgot. Doesn't remember." Then he said, "Eat the food." He eats the food next day. After that he said, "Recite the Vedas that I taught you so many days ago." Then he recites. Mind was not working when it was fasting for a few days. Mind is material. Just to say that, the teacher taught that. Mind is a material, so it should be given those materials in moderation. Food, drinking, recreation, all helps in moderation, help to control the mind. Indulging in vain controversy is another great impediment. You just go on talking and raise some issue. That's why they say, when you talk with some unknown person, never talk about two things. One is religion, another is politics. Never talk. Because there can be strong sentiments and emotion about those. I like my religion, I like my party. So never talk on that. The irrelevant controversy, vain controversy have to be avoided. And after all, nothing emerges from long talk. You go on supporting your own views, he or she goes on to supporting her or his own views, and when you depart, you'll be all very angry on each other, and not that angry, just that angry. That anger remains after that. Mind remains disturbed for hours after that. In vain. So avoid vain controversy. Too much inquisitive about others' affairs. This is another thing that ego plays. We want to know much about others. What that person is doing, what happened to that person, why was he talking like that. This also is an impediment in the control of the mind. Don't be inquisitive. If he or she tells something, it's okay. Otherwise, don't be inquisitive in the affairs of others. If you are there, try to change your habits. Otherwise, you will not be able to control your mind. Mind will not become your friend. And mind will be maybe your enemy. And you will suffer from that. When you suffer, you make others also little suffer around you. That's the problem of human thing. We are so interconnected. If we are happy and peaceful, we tend to make others around us happy and peaceful. If we are suffering, miserable, unhappy, we tend to make around us impart that type of thoughts in others. That is the problem of human connectedness. We all are part of the same world. Another very common thing that we have, jealousy. Jealousy about others' prosperity. That is also an impediment for the control of the mind. Over-ambitious and irrespective of our capacities. When we are, ambition is good, but over-ambitious without knowing our own capacities, we want to achieve something which we do not possess, we do not have that qualities, then also we will be not able to control the mind. Another thing, the last thing I'll say, is that if we have a feeling of guilt, we shall not be able to control our minds. Guilt feelings. We did something wrong. That also eats our mind very much. It's wrong, everybody does. Swami Vivekananda says, the wall doesn't tell a lie, a cow doesn't steal. But cow remains a cow, wall remains a wall. Human being may steal something, may tell a lie somewhere, some point, but he can overcome that. So if something wrong has been done, it's all in him. To err is human. So feeling that thing, never feel guilt for anything that's wrong you have done. Wrong is done, I will try to correct myself. It is done and done. There are many philosophies. God made me do that way. If we feel really I have done something wrong, pray to God, I shall not repeat that and forget there. But the remorse or guilt, just carrying it on in the mind is impediment for our mental growth and mental control. So to control the mind, what is needed now? A favorable inner climate. Our mind should be peaceful, friendly with all, not thinking ill of others. That type of environment, inner environment we have, then we can control the mind. Sri Krishna said, when Arjuna said, you say to control the mind, it's very difficult to control. It's like controlling the wind. Sri Krishna does not deny this. He said, yes, Arjuna, you are true. He says, then Sri Krishna says, what you have to do? Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena chakriyate. He gives two things to control the mind. One is abhyasa, another is vairagya. Abhyasa is repeated practice to make yourself better. And vairagya is detachment from the things of the world, not giving the worldly things that much importance, that what it doesn't have. Seeing the things in a little insignificant, little less significant way than what we see. That's called vairagya. Not seeing, giving too much importance to the things of the world. That is vairagya. What will happen then? Somewhere you have to keep your mind. Then give the mind to God. Vishaye virag ishvare anurag. Detachment from the things of the world and attachment to the God. The mind, if you put more on the God, the mind will be withdrawn from the things of the world, and that type of mind will be easier to be controlled. The purer the mind, easier to control. And purer the mind when you are free from hatred, jealousy, competition, those types of, then if we can make that, it will be easier to control. Practice of discrimination. What I am doing, is it right? That always helps. Then practice of pranayama and pratyahara. Regular practice of meditation. Sitting on a posture and breathing control. Then pratyahara. Trying to fix the mind on something, concentrating the mind, meditation which you call. And then mind goes away to something else. As we said, it is very restless. Swami Vivekananda said, mind is like a monkey jumping from one branch of the tree to another by its very nature. And not only monkey, the monkey which has drunk wine, bitten by a scorpion, and has been possessed by a ghost. That monkey is our mind. So it is not easy to control the mind. When we try to control and concentrate the mind, then we realize how difficult it is. Not even a minute it sits at the place where we want. How much unfriendly the mind is, we realize that time. When we want it to be concentrated on a particular subject, closing the eyes and try to think of your chosen deity, that is the easiest way you can test how much control the mind we have. And you will find for 1 second it will be there, next second it will jump to something else. Then what we need to do? Should we be very frustrated by seeing our condition of the mind? No. Pratyahara. Whenever you find that mind is gone, call it back. Say, here is the joy, mind. Don't go away. Why you want to jump here and there? You'll be tired and you'll make yourself unhappy. Sit here. Be established in the place where I want to. Think something divine, divine form, divine idea. Then you will be happy. Call it back. That is called pratyahara. Again the mind will go. It will not remain like a small child. It will go away. Again call it back. Very nicely, tenderly. There is no joy there. So that's called discrimination, practical discrimination. Where do you want to go? You think of that thing, that is not the real thing. Think here, within the heart, where Lord resides. There is the joy. Bring again and again. Harmonious human relation. We need to be friendly with all. At all circumstances. There, no one is alien, Holy Mother said. That we need to remember. Guard against despondency. That guilt feeling, despondency, feeling of failure, I cannot do. That's very wrong. What was read in the morning, that's why Vivekananda said, we identified with material something and we, without knowing what we are. That feeling of despondency is the ignorance, this despondency. Then beware of the trick of the mind. Sometimes mind is very tricky. It says, I am doing the right thing. That person has done so much harm to me. I should be jealous and I should teach him or her a lesson. This is the trick of the mind. Be always aware of the trick of the mind that plays with you. And then your intellect will work and say, no, that is not the truth. That is not right. He might have done something harm. If I go to do harm to that, I am harming not only him, I am harming myself. And mind indulges in like that also. Sometimes it becomes lazy because the mind is made up of 3 gunas, sattva, rajas and tamas. Sometimes tamas overpowers the mind and it becomes very lethargic, drowsy, doesn't want to do the regular practice that he wanted to do. That is very bad. And mind gives explanation. Oh, today is Saturday, you have to sleep longer. What is meditation now? Prayer you can do a little later. Then it just gives it wants to justify. Everybody sleeps, what is there? Those who say gurus and all these monks, they have nothing to do. How much hard work you need on Friday? That type of trick mind type. You have to catch the mind straight. Holy Mother itself, Holy Mother was once sleeping in the morning and she was tired somehow or sick and she used to get up very early at 3 o'clock. She said she didn't feel like waking up and she said, let me rest a while. Maybe after half an hour she woke up. Next day she said, again the mind said, why to get up now? It's too dark and it's cold. Let me have half an hour more sleep. Then she said, what the mind is doing to me? He just woke up the mind. He caught the trick of the mind. Mind wants to put us in a trick. It does trick with us, plays trick with us. Because it is not that friend. When it becomes really friendly, it will not retreat. It will always guide you in the right direction. The simplest way to control the mind, the simplest way to make the mind friend is the teaching of Sri Ramakrishna. Holy company and taking the name of God. Just repeat the name of God. God is our own best self manifested outside. When you say Krishna or Jesus or Buddha or even the concept of Allah, it's all our own self in its purest form manifested outside. And when we take the name of God, just repeating the name of Krishna, Krishna, Krishna mentally, that makes mind pure and that helps in concentrating the mind. And repeating the name of God rouses love for that deity. When the whole day I say Krishna, Krishna mentally, I have love for Krishna. To develop that love for God is very important to control the mind. Someone told, Sri Ramakrishna told someone, take the name of God and develop love for God. See Him as your master, ever present with you, always guiding you. He's your own relation, like you love your child, love God in that way, if you can, even intenser way. One Priya was there, he said, but I don't feel that attraction, that love for God. Then what to do? Then Sri Ramakrishna said, repeat the name of God and go to God and say to Him, Lord, how it is, I don't feel that attraction to you. I have no love yet grown for you. How can I have love for you? Please make me do that. Please give me love for your lotus feet. Grant me love for you. Grant me yearning for you. This sincere prayer from the heart, the God will grant then what we seek. Particularly the deities that we pray are so vibrant and living. We call Jagrata. No, it's that we say in the temple. The temple, that mother is very living there. Whatever you ask, you get. Like that thing. Vaishno Devi you go, the mother is Jagrata. Tirupati, the deity is Jagrata. The God is Jagrata everywhere. He is sleeping in our heart. He should be Jagrata here. When it's awake here, He is awake everywhere. You don't need to go to Tirupati and Vaishno Devi or Makkah and Jerusalem. He is here itself, God is living. And when you pray to God, He listens. God listens to the footfall of an ant. Even the ant walks and God listens to that. He listens to the prayers of our heart. And when we pray for sincerely and yearning, with yearning we pray for love for Him. When love for God grows, love for the name of God grows in our heart, mind control, it becomes very easy. That is the simplest way to control the mind, to have love for God and God's name. That's the simplest prescription. Sri Ramakrishna says, Holy Mother says, you want to achieve that final goal, Siddhi, when you will be free from all ignorance, have that knowledge of supreme devotion, then do Japam, Japat Siddhi. Repeat the name of God as many times as you can, and you will attain the goal. Japat Siddhi is a quotation of the people who have achieved that. They have achieved the final fulfillment, final salvation, whatever we say, God realizes, whatever we say, time we give, only through the practice of Japam regularly. So that is the simplest way. With all these things combined together, then we can really have a very wonderful friend in us who will never leave us and will always guide us what right for me to do. When our mind is pure and is a friend, then mind, intellect itself will guide us at a time when confusion comes. What should I do sometimes? Mind will guide us. Do this, it will be right for you. If mind is pure, that mind will guide us in the right way. If it is impure, then also that mind will guide you, drag you to something wrong way. So controlling the mind and making it our true friend is very essential to lead a wonderful, better life. Life of spirituality in the world, or life of success. Life of spirituality or life of success in the worldly matters. All can be achieved by making our mind a good friend.